So here is the individual assignment that is in modules, and hopefully you've read through this, but I'm just going to kind of say a few things here. The assignment is different than the one that Mahia had. This is her video, and she was actually allowing students to pick their own topic, which to me is a lot of work because you have to field through every one of them. I just made it simple, and I came up with the 4 life's most significant events assignment. And so you're basically going to take your 4 life's most significant events, and you're going to share those with the rest of the class in the form of putting together a PowerPoint presentation, as well as recording that in PowerPoint and then uploading that so that other students can watch your presentation. And so it's the 4 life's most significant events. You should have probably 5 or 6 slides. It doesn't have to be long. It's meant to be 5 minutes. So basically your title slide is going to be either the welcome slide that has your name on it, or it could also be your navigation slide. But your title slide is kind of like the cover slide, and your navigation slide is where you're going to mention the 4 significant life events. And then you're going to have 1 slide for each of those events, and then you're going to have a conclusion slide. So roughly 6 slides is what you need. You can do a few more, you can do a few less if you can combine it all on there. And as you guys notice here on my screen, hopefully you can all see my screen, by the way. You can't, please let me know. But you have the date. So 2 weeks ago, I had you just get started. Then last week, you were preparing your slides. And then this week, your goal is to actually record it. And so here's some things that I want you to know. So follow the 6x6 rule. She talks about that in this video. So hopefully you watch that video. Again, the assignments are different, but all of her instructions are the same as far as how to make your slides look and how to use the 6x6 rule and keeping them nice and professional. So what she says there is all valid information. So if you've not watched that, that's going to be helpful to you as well. You should also use, again, a navigation slide. So I'll show you what that is in a minute. Then you should use builds on your slides. Now, builds is when you bring up 1 line at a time. So if you have 5 bullet points on your slide, you don't want them all to come up at the same time. You want them to come up 1 at a time. That's called builds. And the reason you do that is your audience will read ahead. If you put all the bullet points up and you're talking about the first one, they're already reading the last one. They're not paying attention to you. So to use builds allows you to let your audience follow along with you a lot smoother. And so that's why you use builds on your slides. Using pictures is very good too. You want to use pictures because visuals are very, very engaging to people. Some students don't do any text. They just do pictures and then they talk, and that's really engaging. And then you want to do some kind of transition, which is between the slides. Either you dissolve or you appear, but try and make your transition smooth if you decide to use something. And then your font size, I mentioned here, don't use anything smaller than a 28. Ideally, you should use around 30 font for your body, maybe a little bit bigger for your headings and things like that. And then use the 6x6 rule as well. And then again, this week, you're going to be recording your video. So there's some ways to do that. The easiest way to do that, and if you've not tried this yet, it's not too difficult, is to do it in PowerPoint. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but you should be able to just open your PowerPoint presentation that you've created, and then you select record a presentation. You should be able to attach video to that. Sometimes mine doesn't work for some reason, so if you have any trouble, you might want to get the latest version of PowerPoint, but I know in all of my classes, most students find the most success just using PowerPoint, and it saves it as a PowerPoint recorded document, and then you can upload that. You can also do YouTube or Vimeo if that's something that you are familiar with. And regardless, though, you should be either a WAV file, an MP4 file, or a PPT file, which is PowerPoint. And then the guidelines of the assignment, very important, is you need to keep it 5 minutes. If you go over, I mark you down by 10 points. And if you go too short, under 4:30, I'll mark you down by 5 points. For each minute that you're early or each minute that you're late, you lose 10 points or over. So make sure you keep it right at 5 minutes. Nice thing about PowerPoint is sometimes you can actually set it for how long you want it to be, and you can save it for that length. And that way, it'll actually speed up your talking. And then you're going to be great on the quality of your slides and then how well you present. Now, you're presenting in PowerPoint, so it's kind of hard to see you actually present, but you can record yourself, and that's why I want you to include a video of yourself. And then once you're done recording it, then you upload it by this Sunday. So that's pretty much the assignment. I'm going to show you a sample in a minute. This is the rubric I use. So basically in your presentation part, which is you speaking, do you speak clearly? Are you organized when you speak? Are the words you're using professional, or are they too informal, or are they too formal? And then you can't really have eye contact other than the fact that you should be looking at the camera when you're speaking for the most part. And then your PowerPoint presentation is where I'll probably find most of the corrections that are needed. So are they organized? In other words, are you following the 6x6 rule? Are you using navigation? Are you using builds? And are they readable? Is the color contrast proper? You should have either a dark background and light text or a light background and dark text. I prefer background and light text. Yes.
Hello.
Question? Yes. Go ahead, Juan. You have a question, Juan? Yes, no? Okay. And then the flow is how well you move from slide to slide, and then the quality, are they clean? Are they accurate? Is there any grammar issues, things like that? And then I usually put other on both of these. Do you have anything that really stands out about your slides? So that's the assignment. Now I'm going to show you a couple of samples of the assignment. I'll show you mine, and then I'll show you, let's see. And you guys got to tell me if you can't see my slides when I open them up here. So hold on a second. I have all these other things going on here. All right, it's not that. So I think I have it down here under PowerPoint. Let's see. There we go. All right, so this is my presentation. Can you guys see my screen?
The screen froze for me. I'm not able to see anything right now.
Okay, let me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop sharing, and then I'm gonna start sharing again. So let's see if this works. Tell me, Brenda, if it works. Or Shanice, whoever was talking.
I can see it now.
Okay, Raylene, sorry. All right, so this is my presentation that I did. I actually do this for the class when I teach it in person. And so I have a title screen. This is the first one you get on the left. It says my significant life events, and then my name, and then the class. And then I have my 4 events, which, by the way, I chose to use an icon or a picture just because it looks cool and it's more graphically driven, and I think people appreciate that rather than just all text. So you try and use as many photos as you can. So that's my navigation slide. I put it up here in the middle. Let me see if I can move it over because your guys' names are covering it. Let me switch this to the top. Hold on. There we go. All right, can you guys still see that?
Yes.
Pretty good. Okay, so these are my 4 significant life events. And then I start with my first one. So my first one was getting hitched. Now, I'm going to play it for you in a second, but I have my first one, which is getting hitched. My second one, which is touring the world. I used to be in a band back in the 80s. And then the next one's On Mission for God, as I was a minister for a number of years, still am. And then Down by the River is kind of my conversion story. And then I have questions at the end. So let me play for you the presentation now, and you can see this is just a sample. So I have it where my first screen looks like this. It's just blank. And then I'll kind of say, good morning, everybody. My name is Eric Doucette, and these are my 4 significant life events in no particular order. And then I go to my next screen. So first one's getting hitched. Notice how all 4 of them didn't come up all at once. I do one at a time. And I do that by just selecting the arrow down here. I just click the arrow. So my next one is touring. Third one is On Mission. And the 4th one is Down by the River. So those are my 4 significant life events I'll be talking about with you today. First one is getting hitched. So this is my marriage and family. I got married in 1986 after knowing my wife for 7 months. And there's a picture of us when we got married. That was in 1986. And this is us a few years ago. And then in 1990, I had my first kid. His name is Andrew. He just turned 31 this last year, believe it or not. So he's probably older than most of you watching this video. Then I had my daughter Miranda in 1995, who currently is, both of them are married, but she's currently pregnant and about ready to have my first granddaughter. So there's a picture of my family about 10 years ago. That's my daughter getting married back in 2018. And my son was still at home, but he's not any longer. He just got married in May, so he's now moved out. So we are what you call empty nesters. So see how I built my slide? I put pictures up and then I put text up. And I kept all my texts short, and they're all meant to just jog my memory. Next one's touring the world. So in 1980s, I was in an 80s heavy metal hair band, but we were a Christian band, but that's what we looked like. We used to wear a lot of makeup and use a lot of hairspray. And hairspray was our friend. We used to pull our hair up and spray it so that it stood straight up. There's another picture of us playing at a church. We performed all around LA back in the 80s. We were mentioned in this was our band Spectra right here in the middle. We were playing with all these other heavy metal bands back in the 80s all around LA in different places. And 30 years later, we were mentioned on a podcast. Somebody was talking about the 80s metal scene in Orange County in LA and Riverside. And we got mentioned in that in a podcast. Somebody, remember that band Spectra? They kind of talked about us. So, and then the next one is On Mission for God. So I was an associate pastor at Harvest Christian Fellowship in Riverside for 10 years. It's a huge mega church there. I served there as a men's ministry leader. Then I was also an event director for the Harvest Crusades that happened at Anaheim Stadium. I did that for 4 years. And then I left, went back to college, got my MBA, and I was a lead pastor with an MBA as I started my own church in Grand Terrace. And then now I was an adjunct instructor at a number of colleges. Now I'm full-time at Norco College. I was full-time at Cerritos College until a year ago, and then I went to Norco. And the last thing is my conversion story. So I call it Down by the River. If you remember that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Goes down to the river. He sees people getting baptized, and he gets baptized, and he says, I'm now saved, and I once was blind, and now I see. And that's kind of my story. I was raised in a religious home. We were Jehovah's Witnesses for many years, and I was into sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but my life was unfulfilling, and then I got saved and became a follower of Jesus Christ. So that's my story. Are there any questions? So this is my significant event, but I just want you guys to see more than anything is how I did the slides, how I built my slides, and that's what we call using builds. Let me, just for fun, I'm going to show you, I just randomly picked another student's presentation. Oops, not sharing my screen, so let me share my screen again. And I think, what did I do with it? Let me go to PowerPoint again. I think I closed PowerPoint. There it is. So this is another guy. Hopefully you don't know him. He's in my class right now, or might have been in one of my classes earlier, but this is his presentation. So just to show you.
Hello, everyone.
So he
my
recorded
name is Ryan Butterly, and these are my 4 significant life events.
So see how he
for
recorded
business
it?
communications in spring 2021.
And he's using his builds.
For my 4 significant life events, I chose me getting to the high school that I currently attend, how I met someone, me getting my
Professor,
Yes.
I only see your text messages.
Okay, hold on. Let me redo this.
Okay.
I noticed that I have to, for some reason, I have to reshare. How about now?
Yes, I see it now.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. This is just another random student. I just picked it out of my pile, so I want you to watch a few minutes of it. So here we go. Ready?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Butterly, and these are my 4 significant life events for business communications in spring 2021. For my 4 significant life events, I chose me getting to the high school that I currently attend, how I met someone, me getting my first job, and how I got accepted into university. Firstly, let's talk about the high school I got into, John F. Kennedy Middle College High School. When I attended John F. Kennedy, it was during my sophomore year of high school. And I attended after applying my freshman year at Roosevelt High School. When I applied, it was much less competitive compared to now, where people are having to be raffled to get into the high school. I am able to take both high school and college classes at John F. Kennedy, which is why I applied in the first place, because it is super beneficial to my future, and it saved me so much time. At Norco College, I discovered my major as business. And this helped me because when I applied to colleges as a senior and junior, I was able to know what I wanted to do before. And then this helped me to get into colleges that were very business oriented. When I graduate, I will have 70 units, 3 AAs, 1 AS, and my high school diploma. The 3 AAs are in social and behavioral science, humanities, communication, media, and language, And the AS is going to be in math and science, as well as my high school diploma from my high school.
Good.
Next, let's talk about
All right, so I'm gonna end it right there just to give you, just really my whole goal there, just to give you an idea of how, how the other students are doing the same assignment. I'm gonna go back to mine. So hold on a second, let me see if I can find it. Oops, I don't know how I keep unsharing my screen. So sorry about that. Hold on a second. Let me go back to PowerPoint. And I'm going to do my own here. So, all right. So just critiquing that particular student's presentation. He did everything right as far as the slides went. His slides were clean. He used builds. If you notice, every time he spoke, another item came up. He used a navigation slide. Probably the only thing I would critique is that his voice was a little soft and monotone. I would really focus even on a video, and I know it's a lot harder because a lot of people are recording these in their bedroom, and it's really intimate, and they're kind of just mumbling into the speaker. But I would ask that you would try and project your voice and speak loud, speak articulately when you record yourself, because that's going to kind of make you stand out. That's the best I can do in this online environment to make sure that you're projecting your voice and all that kind of stuff. So, but other than that, he did a great job. His slides looked great. He had some pictures in there. He had transitions. He had builds. So he did a good job overall. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I probably gave him, he probably got a full credit for the assignment. So anyway, so what I'm going to show you then is how do you do builds and how do you do the navigation and all that. So I'm just going to go to my navigation slide here, and it's going to be a little tough because I have you guys in my way here. So there we go. I'm going to put you in the bottom this time. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but
It's showing text messages.
it is. Okay, hold on a second. Then I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you for saying that. And I'm going to reshare. I don't know why it does that. It's really weird. How about now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, so this is my presentation, but what I want to show you is how to do builds and how to do transitions and all that kind of stuff. So in this case, what I did was I actually went on the internet and I just got 4 pictures that were on the internet. And all you need to do a picture is, like, if you open your slide and you come up here to insert, you can insert picture from file. So I just put them where I could find them on my desktop or whatever. And then I would just come in here. Let's just say I downloaded a bunch from the internet to my desktop, and then I would have the picture right here. So I would select it, and then I would just click insert, and then the picture will show up on my screen. And it might be huge. I might get it and it looks like that, So then I will just come and I will, shrink it down. I'll just grab the corner and make it the size I want, or you can also usually resize them as well. Right here, you can size and position, you can crop, whatever you need to do. But I went ahead and I got 4 pictures on there. So once I got the 4 pictures on the one slide, then I had to make them a transition. So what I'll do is up here, it says animations. It's not a transition, but an animation. So I'm going to select animations. And then if you go all the way to the right, there's a thing called animation pane. I'm going to select that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just delete everything I have here. So that way I can start all over how to do it. Okay. Okay, so back to this. So once I got my pictures on there, then what I did was I actually created text boxes. So this is the same thing you can do. You can insert, instead of inserting a picture, you can insert a text box right here. See this right here, text box? So I just came down and I inserted that. I made a little square, and then I typed my thing in it on mission. I went ahead and, selected the font I wanted to use. Maybe I want to do a bigger font. So I went up here and I said, I want to do it 20 font, and then I want to make it bold. Oh, it went too big, so I just stretched it out a little bit to get it to where I want it. And then I just moved that where I wanted it. So in this case, I had put it right here, right, originally. So that's how I created the titles for each of these. So what I did was I made one slide, and I put the 4 pictures on it, and then I put the 4 text boxes with the title. So now my slide is in its finished state. So then what I did is I went ahead and went up to animations, right? And this is where I want to add my animation. So I went ahead and I selected these 2 together by selecting one and then putting the shift key, selecting the other. Now I've selected both of these, and I want them to appear, right? And I'm going to select the next two. And I'm going to click shift. And this time I'm going to have them do blinds like that. Then I'm going to select the next two. And I'm going to have them do fly in. And then I'm going to select the next two. And I'm going to have them do checkerboard. Okay. So now my slide's done. Now, if I go back to this animation pane right here, I can see the order in which all of my things are going to come up on the screen. I can see the hitched in picture 9 are going to come up together, touring in picture 13, etc. And I didn't name the picture, so they're numbered for me. I can move any of these around I want to. If I wanted to have the first one come up first and then the last one come up last, I can just literally move these up so that now, number 4 becomes number 2. And you can see right next to the picture and the text box that I have, the numbers follow the order. So if I was to go ahead and just play this for you all, and I can't see it because your pictures are in the way, so hold on a second. So if I was just to play this for you, now it's ready to go. And as I click the arrow button, there comes the first one. There comes the last one because I changed the order. There comes the third one, second one, there comes the third one. See? So as I click the space bar or the arrow bar, they come up in the order that I arranged them to come up in. So I don't like the fact that the last one comes up second. I'm going to go ahead and move that back to the bottom along with the picture. Am I moving it? There we go. Picture moved, and then I need to do this one here, and I want it to be right there. So there we go. So now I put them in the order I want. So let me test it out, see how it works. Space bar. Oh, nope, got them wrong. Hold on. Something happened. So picture 9 should have stayed there. Picture 17 should have come down. Let's see if I got it right. There we go. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Then now it's right. I can tell by looking at the numbers next to the pictures. So here we go. All right, so there's my first one. There's my second one. There's my third one. There's my fourth one. And I bring them on the screen when I'm ready for them to come on the screen. And until then, I don't worry about it. So that's how you use builds on your navigation slide. If I go to my next slide, I'll show you how to do it here. Now here I have all these pictures that are overlaying one another, so it gets to be a little more tricky when you do it that way. And what I did was I built it, and then I kept adding a new picture, and then I would add it to my list. And so if I play the slide, it comes one at a time, right, in the order that I put them. So bullet point 1, picture 1, picture 2, bullet point 3, bullet point 4, picture, bullet point 5, picture, bullet point 6. That was it. So how I did that was the same way. If I start with nothing, it's going to be a little more difficult, but let's just do it for fun. So I will delete all of them out of here so that none of them are transitioned. So now what I'm going to need to do, because I have pictures on top of pictures, I'm going to have to move this last one out of the way for a second, right? So that I can get to the other one. So how did I want it to go? I want to go this one first. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then I'm going to go to the animation. So I'm just going to do up here. And then I'm going to have this picture come up next, and that's going to appear. And then I'm going to have this second line come up next. Actually, I think I had this picture next. So that appear. Then this line here, that's going to appear. And then this is going to, so basically you build your whole slide first, and then you add the transitions. I actually forgot the other picture, but that's all right. I can always put it in there later. And then I'll put this picture in there. And then I'm going to do my son still at home. This is the last one. Click appear. And that's the transition I'm choosing, is appear. Now I forgot this picture here. That was earlier on. So I'm going to put it at the bottom, and then I'm going to move it up where I wanted it. And that was right below picture 7. So there's that there. And then I'm going to move this to where I want it. It's not going to show up until I select it. So now I'm ready to go with this particular order. And again, I can change the order by using the pane here, but if not, this is how it'll go. So, I forgot that picture too. So let's go ahead and add that one to the list, and I'm going to move that up above that. Okay. So good thing I made a few mistakes, right? That way you can see what happens when you make mistakes. So here's my slide. I'm going to play it. So I got married in July 1996. There's a picture of me and my wife when we got married. Oh, that was out of order, but doesn't matter. Then there's a picture of me, my family, and here's me and my wife on the right-hand side. My son Andrew was born in 1990. My daughter Miranda was born in 95. Her wedding was in 2018. There's a picture of that. My son was still at home, but he's not. He's married. So that second picture was out of order, right? It was picture number 8 right here, or it was selection number 9. I think, no, it was 7. So I'm going to move that down to right here. So let's try it again real quick. So done, picture. There we go. Andrew, Miranda, family, wedding, son. So there you go. So you can see you basically build your whole slide and then you just add the transitions, and that allows you to have builds on your slides. So then when you're doing your presentation, you're not showing them everything at once. You're building your slide as you click the space bar. And that's very valuable in business presentations, because if I put all of this up, number one, you wouldn't be able to sell the pictures. Number two, you'd read the whole thing and you wouldn't be listening to me talk about my marriage. So that's how you do it. And then the last thing then is, so now my presentation's done, and I want to record my presentation. So I believe under slideshow, there's a thing right here called record slideshow, right? All you need to do to record it is select that. And I believe, oh, shoot, what did I do? End show, sorry. I believe you can select it. Okay, so record slideshow. Now there is subtitles. I know that I use subtitles. For some reason, I had a problem getting my camera to work on mine. I don't know. There it is. Can you see it now? Can you guys see all that?
Yes.
Yes, Professor.
You see my video? So now you're recording. So if I'm starting to record and it's recording my presentation, and so I'm giving my presentation, I'm moving through the slides. Well, actually, I'm actually not recording my presentation because I didn't start it yet. I didn't start the show. But that's where you go to record your presentation. And then it should look like this, what you're seeing right now, where it has your little picture at the bottom, but it has your screen in the background. And just like the students I already showed you. So, all right. So that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Real quick. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Where do we turn in the presentation?
Okay, good question. So I'm gonna shrink this down. And I'm gonna, hopefully you guys see my screen. If you don't, I'll have to re-share it again. Here, let me go there and then I'll re-share it so that way it works. Okay. So stop share, I'm gonna reshare, and I'm gonna select this. So here's our assignment in Canvas. And all you need to do to submit the assignment, in this case, I have to be a student. Hold on, I gotta go to student view here. So this is what you should see. So see up here, it says start assignment at the very top. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, just all you do is select start assignment, and then right here it says upload file down the bottom. So you click upload file, and then you navigate to wherever your presentation is. So if it's on your desktop, you just navigate to your desktop. If it's in a file, wherever you put it, that's where you would navigate. Then you'd attach the file by clicking submit assignment at the bottom. So,
Okay, thank you.
sure. Yeah, that's a good question. So, all right. Any other questions? Somebody else had one?
I missed some of the beginning of this Zoom meeting, but so I think it was 6 slides, right? For minimum. And then do we have, or is there a limit or a minimum of these
No,
what do you call
you
them?
could do it all on one slide. If you have builds, you could technically, if you don't have a lot of bullet points or a lot of pictures, and you want to do 2 events on one slide and end up with only 4 slides, you could do it that way too. It doesn't matter. The main thing is that you're covering your 4 most significant life events, and typically it's just easier to make 1 slide per event, and then you have a title slide, navigation slide, and really question slide. So you're really looking at more like 7 slides, but you don't need all that. But keep in mind that your audience, the whole purpose of slides is for your audience's benefit. It's not really for you. I know that a lot of times we put all of our, people like to put all their notes on their presentation, and then they end up just reading their slides, which is the worst way to do a presentation. You want to be able to look at your audience. So all you want to do is look at your slide and get, the bullet point and then talk off of that. or use index cards. But so yeah, the long answer to your short question is you can do less or more. It doesn't matter. That's just a general idea is roughly, 5, 6, 7 slides, somewhere in there.
What else is significant? I know what I was gonna ask is the minimum. Is there a minimum for these like I forgot what they're called, not special effects for the like blinking in or sliding over.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go, transition.
you should really only use one style, and you don't have to do fancy stuff if you don't want to, but you should have builds. So in other words, I think I did pretty much the minimum of what I would expect, and that's that you don't have to use so many pictures, but that you're building especially building like you could put all the pictures up there right when you first open the slide, and then you build your bullet points. That's where I want to see the builds. I don't care if you build with your pictures or not, but that your bullet points are building, because I want to see that you know how to use that feature when you're giving a presentation. So,
Is there anything else that's significant aside from those two
not really.
that I might have missed?
Just that your slides look nice. They're not, the contrast isn't bad. You don't have that. You have the 6x6 rule. In other words, 6x6 rule is 6 lines, 6 words per line. That's maximum. You don't want to have sentences. You want to have, phrases in your bullet list. So, yeah. Some students will give me a sentence in each one, and that'll get marked down for that. So yeah. Does that answer your question, Juan?
Yes, thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions? You guys all good? Do you feel better about your assignment, or do you feel more intimidated by it? Anybody?
Honestly, it's pretty easy. Like it's just about myself. So
Yeah, I think that's the reason. I think the reason I like to do this assignment is most people have a pretty easy time telling their story, and it's interesting too. And then what I'm going to be doing, just so you know, is they're going to be as you post them on the internet. I should have did it as a discussion post. I'm not sure that people are going to be able to view yours. The idea was, though, to have people view yours as you view theirs. Not everybody's going to be able to view everybody's, but if you viewed 4 or 5 of them and everybody else did the same, then you're getting some feedback from the students and you get to know each other as well a little bit.
yeah, I turned it in, but I couldn't see anyone else's presentation.
Yeah, I think unfortunately I set the assignment up as an assignment and not a discussion. So you may not be able to, and I apologize for that, unless I can find a way to do it. So
That's how I got confused about that too.
yeah, I apologize. I didn't realize it till right now when I was doing it that I set it up as an assignment. When she asked me how to upload it, I came to the bottom because I thought it was going to have the reply like a discussion post, but it didn't. So then when I clicked student view, I realized it was actually set up as an assignment. So you may not be able to do that. I apologize, but I'll be viewing all of yours. So yeah.
Okay, so we won't be graded on replying.
No.
Okay.
Not if you can't. So no, just do your presentation and you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be grading it. And you may keep the presentation because you never know when you might use it again. So, somewhere else. Okay. Anybody have any questions or any more questions or concerns, or you don't know how to do something, or you all feel like you got it?
No, you pretty much answered everything.
Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I guess that's it then. I'm going to end the recording. And
Professor, real quick. Okay, so this is going to be